It's gonna take some time this time. I hope everyone had a nice Valentine's yesterday. Mine was great. My Valentine's was the United States of America. Thank you, beautiful country, for making one of my wildest dreams come true in the most recent past and more so yesterday. This episode is going to be about... Hey everybody, it's your host, Wawala Brooke. Welcome to Babbling Brooke. We are talking about one of my favorite things, my pet peeves. See what I did there? Cutting in line. Whether you're doing it in person, whether you're doing it by car. In this instance, we were waiting in line for about an hour in our cars. And I have to give you an idea because I tried to explain it, but I thought let me just do a quick intro to it. Where we're picking up whatever we were picking up with our cars, it's a single file line for about 10 people in front, for about 10 cars. And then that line splits into two lines to accommodate the number of cars in line in the limited space. Those two lines curve into a horseshoe or a U because we run out of space. And then those two lines then merge again into one line, which leads to where we enter from the street. So you enter into a single file line, which splits into two and merges back close to where the front of the line is into one. All right. So I want you to, as you listen, think of whether you relate more to me, my position in the story, or to the other multiple players. I won't spoil it for you. And let me know your thoughts. It's two episodes that are put together because I went back to the same place the following week. And I thought to record another episode. Both of them were recorded in the car, by the way. Just a fun fact. The second one is an update of the previous one based not on the line part of it, but on the vibrational standpoint, where something can happen. In my case, it was the cutting and the whatever, that can throw your vibration off and can impact, in my opinion, the outcome of the whole point. So having waited in line and somewhere down the line, no pun intended, having something happen that throws you off, and now by the time it's your turn, an hour plus later, you may not even be successful because you've been completely thrown off and you stayed in that lower vibration, or you worked on that vibration, and if you're able to do so and have the tools, manage to raise it just enough that it impacts the outcome in your favor. So I give you an update of how that ended up going in my case. I hope you'll enjoy this, and I'd like to hear back from you about any aspect of what we talked about here or your Valentine's. We're Babbling Brooke Podcast on Facebook and on Instagram. I am at Babala Brooke on all my personal social media. The blog is babalabrook.com, youtube.com/Babala Brooke is my YouTube channel. And my eBay stores are The Lovely Brooke, My Brooke, Tracker Brooke, and The Brooke. Check any and all of those out. And please give us a rating here wherever you are listening to this show. Thank you and have a fabulous weekend. If you're in the United States, I hope you are having a blast this long weekend that I just found out yesterday is a long weekend. Toodles! September 30th, 2022. The time right now is 12:55 in. So noon is only 12 o'clock. At 12:01 is afternoon or is still noon? Like I'm trying to figure out, is 12:55 at noon or afternoon? Anyway, you catch what I'm saying. The sun's out, so it's not the other 12 o'clock. It's the other one. I'm in line, and with my car, we're queuing in cars, and it's my second time here. I think I did actually a podcast recording from here, my first time here, because we waited for an hour before the line started moving. Hi everybody, my name is Babala Brooke. Welcome to another episode of my situationship. I have something on my mind, and I was like, that's an interesting thought. Let's see what others think of it. When I first came here a couple weeks ago, there were two lines. So I joined the shorter one. And as the lines started moving, I realized that they were merging into one. I had assumed that when, it'll just be two lines and we'll get served the way that we were queued. But like I said, the lines started merging. And, going uphill and I'm driving a stick shift, so you gotta watch out for the rollback. So the lines started merging and I was like, do I just merge anywhere? Luckily, I remembered who I came here behind or whatever, who was here when I got here. So I noticed that people are eyeing who they're behind and they're going behind those people or something like that. That's what it looked like to me. It didn't look seamless, just like, you just go. When the cars are merging in traffic on the road, and if you have a fair bunch of people, then they will do it the right way. What I think is the right way. Now, this time, the line had made a U because it was so long and they hadn't started yet. So the two lines had both made a U and merged into one in the back. So I joined the back of the line, just the single file. And then I realized, okay, now we started moving and we joined the two U's. So I'm thinking, let me go to the shorter one. And then I was like, wait, the shorter one is going to end up with me having to merge back into the single file, and I'm going to end up ahead of the people who got here before me. I don't want to be that person who's just like hoping somebody's going to let me in, hoping, you know what I mean? And I feel like it's kind of tacky too, because this is not just the freeway where there's a roadwork ahead. I think a lot of people know what's going on here other than me. I just assume. So I waited for the person who I was behind in the single file, and I went back. So now the double line ended with me because I just went back to the single to make it a single, because I'm towards the end. I think this makes sense. The person who's behind me, as I'm waiting to merge back into the single file, she freaking drives. She's driving a pickup and I'm driving my little car. She freaking drives on the curb to, because I guess I'm annoying, to go ahead of me and join the short line because, what an idiot. I guess I am. And I'm thinking, this is going to be awkward because it's one of my pet peeves and it's already rubbing me the wrong way that I'm being considerate and fair and joining this line, and this person is cutting me off to go and cut me off again ahead, because that's what's going to happen now. She's going to end up being ahead of a bunch of us, which is what I was avoiding on account of being fair. So, no, she waits when it's time for her to merge, because now it's just her on the second line. She waits. So I was like, I guess I misjudged her. I guess she's going to wait for her turn. Because it's such a pet peeve, I was already ready. If everybody's just going to keep driving, I was ready to keep driving as well and close it. I'm very good at not letting people in front of me, and I'm very good at going in front of people. I'm not saying other people are not good at it. Maybe they just don't want the drama. Sometimes I also just am like, whatever, but it depends, because it's such, like I said, it's a pet peeve. Sometimes the peeviness takes over the brain, instead of being like a normal, mellow person.
I used to do it in trucks too. People used to think, oh, it's just a truck, I'm gonna cut in front of them. Fuck you, let me show you. And I would be like, you really want to take a chance with a truck? Really? That's what you want to do? You want to risk your life right now? And I would do that with a truck, and they think, some of y'all are like that too. I'm sure a bunch of you are like that guy. And I'd be like, fuck no. And while I was in the truck, if I wanted to cut in front of somebody, fucking cut in front of that person. What are you going to do? You know what I mean? I guess that's the whole point. Everybody can do it. It's just a matter of, do you want to or do you not? You know what I mean? For the most part, I try to be a fair and kind person and let things roll off my back. But, we're human, so there's that. The person in front of me, who I thought I was being nice enough to wait for in order for them to go back in front of me instead of me cutting in front of them, waits for this cutter in front of her to go in front of them. And I'm thinking, just go, dude. So now I have the guy in front of me waiting for the white pickup truck that's cutting that I thought was cutting the line, but realized was not cutting the line. Hopefully I'm going to end up editing this because I hate just like stuttering. But if I end up not editing this, I'm sorry for stuttering. I'm just a closer girl trying to speak English. You see, I have an excuse for that too. So, nope, the guy in front of me just waits. And I'm thinking, oh, if I were someone else, I'd just honk and be like, go. I can see the guys behind me moving forward because we're waiting to go and pick up something. And it's on a first come, first serve basis. So now I'm only a few cars from the back. It's like, what if it ends right in front of me and I would have gotten it, but I won't because somebody lets somebody in front of me. And I'm thinking to myself, really, if you let the last person in front of you, you should take their place and go to the back of the fucking line, right? I can't be wrong about this. I'm wrong about a lot of things, but I feel like that's fair. Otherwise, what's the point? Why don't we all just go and fight it out? I mean, I wouldn't do that. So yeah, this guy just waited and waited, and they were both driving parallel to each other because apparently the pickup person wasn't trying to cut, and this person's just waiting. And I'm thinking, fuck, why don't you get out of your car, you Mother Teresa, and go drive that pickup truck all the way to the front of the line because you so desperately want them to come in front of all of us. It felt very unfair, and it's a personal problem for me. It's one of those things that'll happen in order for you to realize how much more work you still have to do on yourself. You see what I'm saying? Because I was like, why is this? I know why it's rubbing me off. I feel like it's not fair. But at the same time, I have no control over it. It's going to happen if it's going to happen, or it's not going to happen. So I just need to work on myself about how I react to things when they don't go the way that I want them to. And, right? I know, I get all of it intellectually. It's just that I thought it's good food for thought. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. You're the guy who let somebody in front, even though they really were willing to wait. Or you the guy who wasn't trying to cut in and somebody let you in. Well, I get with that guy, like, I mean, at some point you're going to have to go, right? And then you're me, who's watching all of this happen, and it's like, fuck. The guy in front of me waited so long that I was thinking, should I just cut in front of him and go take that gap? Because now you can end up behind somebody because you obviously are not in a hurry. I'd like to hear what you think and what your pet peeves are, etc., etc. Thank you so much for listening. I'm not going to make this long. I'm like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 10 people in line, and I hope that it all works out. Fingers crossed, fingers crossed, fingers crossed. I still have to work on my vibrations and think positively because it still kind of pissed me off a little bit. I still have that anxiety of what if, and I have to work on that because really it's not the end of the world whichever way this all turns out. I'll be fine regardless. That I know for a fact, always. Thanks for listening. You can find me on other social media at Babalobruk if you would like to follow me. I also have a YouTube channel. And I have... Hi.
I'm going to pull these other folks in, but they'll follow you.
Okay, thanks. So, sorry. I'm Baba Labrook on other social media, and I have a YouTube channel, which is also at Baba Labrook, as well as, what is the other thing that I have? A blog, babalabrook.com. Bye. Hello, everybody. I can hear people talking in the car parked next to mine. Hopefully, they cannot hear me for whatever reason. I don't know. My windows, I don't know. How does that make sense? Can you hear them? My car's windows are shut. Their windows are open. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but I'm just saying. Hey, everybody. My name is Baba Labrook. Welcome to another episode of Chatting with Brooke. Changes every time. Today is October the 7th, 2022. The time is noon. More or less the same time that I did the previous recording that I did here at this location on Friday and 2 Fridays before that. That's neither here nor there. I wanted to give you a quick update because last time I was here in this line where we line in cars, I had talked to you about somebody who they didn't really cut in line, but I thought they were going to, and then somebody made them get into the line. I'll see if there's a way for me to link to that episode so that if you like, you can check that out. It's probably 2 episodes back. Fucking hell. Sorry. So here's the update. We arrive at the destination of why we were queuing for an hour. And the guy, and then, oh my God, sorry. I'm so distracted because I can hear everything they're saying. And I mean, what do? You can't tell people, can you not talk loud outside in public? No. So it's almost my turn, and I see them saying 2 of whatever we were getting in line. And the guys that are doing the servicing are like, okay. And then the lady who said 2 asks them how many are left, and they say 2. I am second in line. Literally, I got the last shit. I'm like, you know what? Sometimes these things happen, and I take credit for it. I'm like, I definitely manifested that. Sometimes I'll be excited about something, and then my mood will shift. And as we get closer to whatever it is that I want, it could be the date of the thing that's going to happen. It could be anything. And all of a sudden, my mood shifts, and I get anxious versus how excited I was. And then when it doesn't manifest, I'll think to myself, I could tell this wasn't going to happen. And I know the point at which things shifted. I feel like maybe it would have happened up until the time when I started feeling funny. I hope this makes sense, and I hope that you can relate because I'd like to hear your experiences with this type of thing. So this time, I was like, I don't know, I can't take credit for this because I feel like at the time that I did the recording of the podcast and I vented about it, around that time, I was at a point, it was, what is it called? Low vibration. I was vibrating lower than you want to if you want something to happen. And I even thought to myself, the more I focus on this, the more I'm going to end up being the first one who doesn't get it, and the last person is going to be the one in front of me. And then it's really going to be like, shit, if they didn't let that guy in front of me or ahead of me, whatever, I would have gotten the thing. It's going to be, basically, I was afraid that I was going to manifest it from how negatively I was feeling about it. I know it sounds like I'm talking in riddles, but I'm not going to do a whole recording of an episode that I already did. So it's for those who follow the previous story and those who get what I'm saying now, hopefully, and maybe don't need to listen to the previous one or whatever. But that's my point. So when it gets to my turn, they're like, last one, I was like, woohoo! And the lady said, you win. I love how she used that word specifically. She was like, you win. And I was like, yeah, I'm excited. Thank you. So I opened the trunk of my car, and a guy is going to load something into my car. And I look back to thank him, And at the same time that I thanked him, he was thanking me because you're supposed to, whatever. So he was thanking me at the same time I was thanking him, and we made eye contact. And I was like, what? I met this guy last time I was in town 2 weeks prior. Not here. I didn't even know he helps out here. But I was at a gas station, and I pay cash there because that's how you save money, right? I have never in my life have I spent cash. Oh my God, the breeze that just came in is amazing. I'm sitting in like a box now with my car, and I don't have the AC on, but I'm also avoiding the noise from over there. So, I don't think this is a good idea for me to open this car, because now I think they have a Bluetooth phone call in the car, and I can hear the other person as well. So it's 3 people. Hopefully you cannot hear them. So I got my gas, right? And then I went inside and I waited in line to pay. And we arrived in line. This is now 3 weeks back. We arrived in line, and there's, at the same time, in the back of the line, this is obviously 3 weeks back. I know, I feel like I'm talking about lines a lot. And the guy says to me, go ahead. And I was like, oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. Such a gentleman. And he said, chivalry is not dead, right? And I said, but was it ever? And he was like, that's a very interesting perspective. I said, no, because how long have people been saying chivalry is not dead? At what point was it dead, and then they realized that it wasn't? Like, what was the gap between when there was chivalry and then it died, and then people started saying, oh, actually, it's not, because, somebody resuscitated chivalry. I asked him, and he was like, that's so good. I said, that's just something that people who are looking for something negative are going to say, oh, people aren't chivalrous anymore. But if that's what you're looking for, you might just find that. So we start talking about manifesting just a little bit, because we're in line and the line's moving. And he was like, wow, I like the way that you're thinking. I said, you can manifest things. If you're looking for chivalry, that's what you're going to find. If you're looking for chivalry to be dead, that's exactly what you're going to find, in my humble opinion. And then he told me, there's a guy, there's a book by Napoleon Hill. And then he said something that I never heard before. I feel like I get what he was trying to say, but I don't think that's the exact title of the book. And I said, I've read 2 of his books. He said, did you really? So that was another thing that we had in common. I said, yeah. So I'm going to look that one up. I can't remember what he said the title was, but just look up Napoleon Hill. How many books did he write? I don't know. I know one of his most popular ones are Think and Grow Rich, right? Everybody recommends that book. Not everybody, but everybody. So I'm like, nice to meet you. Take care, blah, blah, blah. I get in my car and I leave. That was the first and the last time I saw him. Cut to 2 weeks later, which was last week, when I turned around and there he was. And I was like, wow, it's nice to see you. And then somebody from my town who I bumped into at a store in my town. We only have like maybe 1 store in my town, maybe 2 or 2.5. That includes gas stations. So, gas station, convenience stores. So those are like the grocery stores, I guess, in my town. So I saw that guy too. This is now the second guy that I'm seeing. I was like, hey, and he's like, long time no see. I see him every week, and I bump into him at the store. The store opens once a week, so I make sure to go, because it's like one of the only things that we have going on in my off the grid town. So, oh wow, they haven't been talking. I'm realizing my voice is low, and I was like, oh, maybe I haven't been hearing them. Maybe I tuned them out. Maybe I manifested the silence that I've been wanting by tuning it out or whatever. I don't know. Whatever. It's your first time here, and I sound like I'm babbling and rambling and whatever. There's a point to all of this. I promise. I came here with something to say. Give me another chance or 2, and then make a decision and give me a review. Tell me what you like, what you don't like, what I could work on, what you would like to hear, etc., etc. I then got the last thing, got in my car, and I left. that was the update. I appreciate you listening. Now I'm waiting in line, and they're going to start serving us again at, well, allegedly at noon. The plan was to get here at 11:30, and I ended up leaving the house just before 11:30. So it was going to be like a decent drive. So I'm here, and I'm waiting, and I need to use the restroom as usual. I apologize for the TMI. And we're gonna see if we can continue listening to music. Hopefully it'll distract me, and I'll be, you know, I'll make it. I just want the line to start moving, because once it does, then it's promising. When it's moving, then it's moving. But before it even starts moving, when it should have started 15 minutes ago, you can panic when you need to use the restroom. I guess I would get out of the car and go stand next to those guys and be like, hey, what are we talking about? Thanks for listening. I'm on all social media at Babalwabrook. And that's Babalwa. And I also have a YouTube channel. And I have a blog that is long overdue for update. Hopefully by the time you hear this episode, I will have been regular again. I'm also on OnlyFans. Just kidding. As of right now, I'm not. But who knows? The night's still young, babe. Bye.